Okay, so you're considering making the move to Utah, but as you research online, there's so many statements out there that are true and false. So what do you believe? Actually, for me, this is my mission right here on my channel. I love helping people discover all things Utah, but especially Utah real estate. And so I'm here right here on this channel to answer your specific questions. And after now having completed over 150 videos right here on my YouTube channel, helping people accomplish just that, I've kind of condensed down the top questions that I've been asked over the last 150 videos. And I'm addressing those questions right here in this video to hopefully kind of create an ultimate guide put together based on the many questions that other people are asking me as they're making that move to Utah. And to get real for just a minute, so many people move here for so many different reasons. And so I'm really curious what it is that's bringing you to the state of Utah. If you want to drop a comment down below, I would love to find out what's actually motivating you to come to Utah yourself. I would love to read those comments. I love having those conversations as well. And as I've created these last 150 videos, I've been so blessed to talk to so many different people from all over the country and even the world. And it's been really fun to get to know the reasons why different people are coming here, but also find out how I can best serve them. And in this video, I'm hoping to create a guide to the top questions that people have asked me over the last 150 videos. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Scott Steele. I'm a local real estate professional, but I love helping people discover all things Utah, not just real estate. And I love having the conversations around helping people make that move here themselves, not just because I get to help people with real estate, but it's really cool to see people come and discover a new area, a new place that they can call home. It's the place that I've called home almost my entire life. And as a Utah native, I hold this place in special regard in my heart. I love living here, and I'm hoping that those that come here find a really good experience as well. And that's my mission. So as I reflect back and look at all the different videos I've created and interactions that I've had with you, the viewer, I've had so many different people ask me different questions. But first things first, the top question that comes to mind is, where should I live in Utah? There's so many different places to be. There's so many places to live, and it's really unknown. If you're coming from a different place, you have no idea the differences between Salt Lake County or the Salt Lake City Metro versus Utah County or up north or maybe out in Park City or down south in St. George. So there's so many different things to keep in mind when you're considering making that move. And where should you live in Utah depends on so many different things pertaining to your lifestyle, to your job, to your work, and all of the above. And what I've done here is I've broken it down to the top 6 counties that I serve, most of which are right here along the Wasatch Front, right next to Salt Lake City. And that includes Salt Lake County, Utah County down to the south, Davis and Weber counties to the north, as well as Summit County to the east where Park City is. But then all the way down in the southwest corner of the state, we have Washington County, and that's where St. George is. And if we look at the median house price along all of the Wasatch Front, it's just a little bit under $600,000, coming in at $589,000. Now, as we take a look at just Salt Lake County, the median house price is just under $570,000. And if we go down just south to Utah County, it's just shy of $600,000. And going up north into Davis and Weber counties, it gets up to $560,000 and $542,000. And so the median house price along the Wasatch Front tends to be higher the further south. And as you move north along the Wasatch Front, it gets to be a little less expensive. And I don't want to fail to point out Summit County. That is where Park City is. The median home price in the Park City area or surrounding towns is $1.897 million, so just under $2 million. And then if we go all the way to the south end of the state in St. George, Washington County, the median home price there is $725,000. And most of the time when I get on these calls with you, the viewer, I actually get to find out where do you want to be based on where are the most affluent areas as well as the most affordable. If we're looking at Salt Lake County, for example, the most affordable areas in Salt Lake County are going to be in the northwest corner of the valley, which is where West Valley City and Magna and other cities are. And then if we move down into Utah County, the less expensive areas are going to be down further south towards Payson, or even down even further south in Utah County, or out west towards Eagle Mountain. And then as we look across the entire Wasatch Front, regardless of whether it's Utah County or Salt Lake County, or up north in Davis and Weber counties, the closer you get to the mountains, typically the more expensive the home is. In other words, the further east you go, the more expensive the real estate is. And the further west you go, you'll typically find newer developments and less expensive homes as well. So when looking at the most affluent areas, starting in Utah County, the most affluent areas are of course against the mountains typically, but really up north in Alpine. Alpine's a really expensive area, as well as down south in Mapleton, or even in other areas like Woodland Hills. There are some really expensive developments down there as well. And of course, as you get up into the mountains around Park City, you get into a whole different world of real estate. The homes there are so much more expensive. And right here in the city, in Salt Lake City itself, you find a lot of older neighborhoods that have been fixed up. These old neighborhoods can be very expensive for the type of house that you're getting. In other words, you'll probably spend more per square foot in an old Victorian home just right near the heart of downtown Salt Lake City than just about anywhere if that home is genuinely renovated and it's really up to par. But no matter where you go, there are affluent areas everywhere, including up north in Ogden. There are different pockets and different areas where, of course, luxury homes are going up, and luxury homes are driving a huge sector of the market here, it's astounding to me to see how many people are moving here that are actually buying in the 800 to 1.2 range. In fact, most of the people I'm talking to are shopping between the $700 and $1 million price point. So when it really comes down to it, the best way to do this is for you and I to hop on a call where I can show you the map and we can talk about the different areas and really dive into what your particulars are, because what's right for you might really greatly depend on what you're looking to accomplish with your lifestyle. Where's your job? How do you commute to work if you have to commute to work at all? What are the different factors that play into your decision and what you're looking to accomplish? For example, I've got people that are moving here and they want more space. And so for them to be further south in Utah County and out west, it's really appealing to them. For others, they want to be right in the heart of the city or close by so that they can be not only close to the mountains, but also close to the city with all of the different things that a city provides. So depending on what you're looking to accomplish in your recreation, your lifestyle, and your work, we'll come up with a good game plan as to which areas are best for you. And that leads me into the next question that I'm most commonly asked, and that is, can I find a property along the Wasatch Front that will really truly suit my needs? And I believe personally that you can. I think no matter what your needs are, there's a place here that's going to be perfect for you. And granted, you might have to have compromises in some regards in terms of being a little further away from something that you might not want to be, but there's so many things so close that I can't help but think that you're going to find a home that's going to fit perfectly with your needs as well. All right, next question that I'm constantly asked, and that is weighing the decision of buying an existing home versus new construction. And while there are pros and cons to each, I absolutely love helping guide people regardless of the direction they choose to go, whether it be new construction or existing homes. And of course, there's pros and cons to each. And if you're buying a new construction home, you're typically going to have to wait longer. And depending on the price point that you're buying in, you might be in a development full of new homes with a lot of construction happening. And for some people, they like that, the fact that everything's new, that the shopping's new, the developments are new. And you'll find a lot of that out in Saratoga Springs. You'll find a lot of that in Daybreak, in South Jordan, or the southwest quadrant of Salt Lake County, but you're going to find pockets of that throughout the entire state, depending on where the development's happening. New construction is something I'm incredibly passionate about, and I've got tons of developments that I'm going to be sharing this spring and summer right here on my YouTube channel to share where those developments are, what's happening, and what the price points of those homes in those developments are going to be. So stay tuned. And ultimately, when it boils down to making a decision between existing versus new construction, I'm here to guide you through either one of those decisions. But if you do go with the new construction route, it's important to make sure that you have a guide to guide you through that construction process. I do have a lot of people here that come and they visit, they find out what they want, and they end up choosing to go with new construction. For me, I love that because I get to be the boots on the ground, and as you return back home before you actually make the permanent move here, I can be right here on top of things, making sure that your home is being built and delivered to you as planned and as you hoped for to begin with. I can make sure that your home is being built correctly, making sure that your interests are protected, and making sure that you end up with the product that you're hoping for in the end, and that's exactly why I'm here to help you. So if new construction is appealing to you, please reach out to me. I have a list of all the builders. I can help you make sure to get into the right home with the right builder in the right community. And the last thing I wanted to touch on with new construction versus existing, most often it's more expensive to buy new construction than it is to buy existing. Anything that's new and shiny or custom is obviously going to cost a little bit more money. But when you factor in all of the costs associated with buying that new home, including the fence and the landscaping and any other incidental cost that will pop up as you move into your new home, I think it's really worth it, because then you get a new home that's beautiful, that's just yours, and you can make that place a new home and a fresh start right here in Utah. Okay, next up, the thing that people ask me so often is they ask about jobs. What is the job market like in Utah? Utah has ranked number one in terms of the economy as well as jobs for quite some time now, and it's routinely in the top 5. So if you're curious what drives the economy here in Utah, we do have a lot of jobs and a different diverse amount of jobs as well. And even though Utah's a very entrepreneurial state, there are a lot of small businesses here. People do make a living on their own quite often. In fact, I think we have one of the highest rates of self-employed individuals here in Utah than most places in the country. But the big industries that are driving most of the new jobs here in Utah are what we call the Mighty Five. Now, when we talk about the Mighty Five, we oftentimes talk about the 5 national parks in Utah, but we also have 5 industries that we're really working as a state to attract those jobs to the state of Utah for long-term security and growth. And those jobs include advanced manufacturing, aerospace and defense, financial services, life sciences and healthcare, and last but not least is tech. The tech scene here has been booming. We see a lot of new companies both starting up here in Utah as well as companies moving in. And it's been really cool to see all the different jobs that are created, because as that's happened, our job growth has increased, but also the average or the median pay has increased as well. And it's going to have to keep up, because in order to maintain these real estate prices, there's going to be a huge need for higher paying jobs. So I think all in all, Utah's a great place for jobs. And hopefully you find yourself in that same situation, because many of the people that are relocating here are coming here because of their job. So If that's you, drop a comment below. Let me know where you're coming from. All right, next question on the list. This is a question that pops up so frequently, which is kind of funny, but they ask, what are the things to do in Utah? And I think if you live in Utah, sometimes we can get in a little groove where we think, oh, there's nothing to do here. When in fact, we are so blessed with so many cool places to go explore and check out and things to do. The state has really grown up in terms of the urban amenities and the things to do inside of the cities, but we also have the world's greatest backyard in terms of the national parks, the state parks, and the scenery. And I've recently created a video with my personal top 50 things to do in Utah. I would venture to guess that most everybody that's moved here in the last 5 years or even decade has not even come close to scratching off half of those items on that list. So I believe that you will never run out of things to do in the state of Utah. If you're looking for an adventure, of course, you'll be right there. But other things in the city are changing as well. The sports scene, for example, is really coming on strong here in Utah with pursuing the 2034 Olympic Games, as well as a Major League Baseball team and National Hockey League team. But Salt Lake City is a big enough city that we do get all of the attractions. We get the concerts. We get everything that you would likely experience in other bigger cities. For example, like Denver or Phoenix or Houston or something like that. You're going to see pretty much whatever you want right here in the city. But if not, those cities are a quick flight away. So it's actually quite easy to make it down to Vegas or over to Denver or even LA. So if that's something that's important to you, I think Utah's going to have a lot to offer as well. So I would just recommend watch that video of my personal top 50 things to do in the state of Utah. And if you see anything in there that's appealing, go try it out. It's so cool to try out different places. It's so cool to explore this beautiful state. And I would highly recommend doing everything that I have on that list. All right, next up, this question comes up all the time, and that is, what is the weather like in the state of Utah? You can, of course, Google your answers and find out from blog posts or other people's comments about what the weather truly is like here. But we live in a really arid climate. It's drier here. So even though we do get a couple of weeks each summer where we hit that 100-degree mark, it doesn't feel as hot as maybe it does in, for example, Vegas. It doesn't feel as hot as it could elsewhere simply because we have a dry climate here. So the summers, they can be a little hot in the summertime, of course, but they're not as extreme as somewhere where you have more humidity. And on the flip side of that, people are always so curious about the snow. They think that we're constantly shoveling snow here, and that's honestly just not the case. Other than last year, which was a record-breaking snow year for us, we really don't have to deal with snow all that often down here in the valley. If you know how to drive in it and you know how to maintain not only your car and make sure that you have the equipment that you need at home, it's usually a non-issue. When we get snow down here in the valleys, we can typically expect that snow to be plowed well, and we can shovel our walks, we can shovel our driveways, or use a snowblower, and ultimately within just a few days, we're kind of back to normal. So it's nothing to be overly concerned about in terms of how much snow we get here. And the snow here is typically drier and fluffier than most places simply because we have that arid climate. And that is precisely why millions of people come here to visit each and every year to go skiing and snowboarding, because we do have the greatest snow on earth because it is dry and it is powder. And while on the topic of weather, I want to talk about this too. We have on average 220 days per year of sunny days. That means 220 days out of the year, phenomenal weather here. But with that said, in the wintertime in January and February, we can really experience some inversions here that really play into our weather and our enjoyment of the weather, but also the air quality. The air quality can be terrible in the winter here. So I would recommend, if you are indeed considering moving to the state of Utah, plan a visit. Even if you visited before, plan a visit to intentionally come and explore the areas that you're considering. And I can hop on that call beforehand to make sure that you're looking at places that will probably make a lot of sense for you. We can typically eliminate 80 or 90% of the areas just by having that 30-minute or 40-minute conversation ahead of time. And then that way, when you do come to visit, you're spending your time and your energy on finding exactly what's right for you, and you'll be able to dial in exactly what works best for you. And ultimately, my mission here is to become the ultimate guide for anybody moving to the state of Utah. So if that's you, reach out to me. I'm here for you. I can guide you along the path and make sure that you find a place that could be suitable for all of your needs. And this is not only something I'm passionate about, but I absolutely love helping other people find and discover all things Utah and make this place their home as well, because I think it's one of the greatest places in the country or the world. And with that said, if you want to learn more about life in Utah, check out this video next. And until the next time, thanks.